They're some of the most iconic images of our time. Just describing them, you'll see them in your mind's eye. Harry Truman holding up a copy of the Chicago Tribune bearing the headline, "Dewey Defeats Truman." Princess Diana and Prince Charles emerging from St. Paul's Cathedral in London after their wedding in 1981. Martin Luther King Jr. waving to supporters during the March on Washington in 1963. And now Getty Images is opening up its archives to bloggers and social media users to publish them royalty-free for the first time on non-commercial sites. Getty has always been among the most aggressive in going after copyright violators. Why this decision? Why now?
Well, I think one of the reasons for the decision is that legally it was costing them to try to go after each and every one, and the explosion of the uses of these photographs and others has basically taken off as more people create their own websites and they're putting them out there not for any kind of commercial use. They're basically doing it to maybe give examples to friends of what they're talking about, or to basically demonstrate some information that they're trying to convey. So I think, Getty's decision is one of legality, but I also think that, Getty is doing this in order to get its name out there, because if it can keep doing that, then it's going to work for them.
So there are some caveats involved here. It has to be embedded. They have to, like we talked about, non-commercial sites, and it's kind of sketchy as to what non-commercial sites mean. Is that really just a way for Getty to still be able to go after people? Is it a catch?
I think it's a catch in several ways. As a person who's purchased Getty Images for a book that I do that does in fact make money, I can tell you, A, they're tough, and B, they're very expensive. And I think that market had begun to dry up on them a long time before they made this choice. The second thing is the way they've done it, both technologically and with the actual verbiage that they're using if you want to use one of their pictures. They're making it very difficult for people who might make money on these images to use these images in that way. So they basically become illustrations, and some of them potentially historic. But as you know, if you go and you look at the images, you're not going to find current news events.
Right.
And so they've kept what they believe is the profitable part of the business, and they've tried to retain some copyright hold on that. And at the same time, they're saying, well, it's going to get lifted, stolen, pilfered, whatever word you want to put in there. So we're going to make it free. We're going to wrap it up in such a way that we're going to get credit, and then we're going to hope that our name spreads.
Well, and you can see on our links blog, I've gone ahead and through fair use included one of those embeds so that our viewers and visitors can see what that looks like and how those connections are going to be made. It doesn't really look bad. But it does link back. It is an embed. It's really no different than what you would have with video from YouTube or from almost any other site.
And it gets their name out there. I mean, especially if people are using this on a daily basis.
Gets their name out there and drives traffic ultimately back to their sites.
Right.
Well, that music means we're pretty much out of time for this week. I'd like to thank you for spending the last half hour with us. You can read more about all the topics we talked about today. Do that on our links blog. You can find it under the Talk Show tab at KBIA.org. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @ViewsOnKBIA. These are all great ways to watch and listen to our program again, leave us comments or questions, and see previews of what we'll be talking about next week. Our thanks to RJI's Travis McMillan for directing today's show, and to Pat Akers for handling the audio. And a special thanks to Lee Wilkins for being back with us today. I'm Amy Simons. Be sure to join us again next week when Ernest, Mike, and I will have another edition of Views of the News.